We're going to begin our picks for this week with the Pac-12 championship game that's played on Friday. You may be wondering, how can you guys do a game on Friday? You guys are
Exactly.
anti-college football games on Friday because of high school. This is a different time of year. Some states have already had their state championship football games. Here in Louisiana, we're in the semifinals. It's not a typical Friday evening high school football since we're in the playoffs. So we went ahead and made an exception. We're going to go ahead and pick this game. But if you have the opportunity to go to a high school playoff game, by all means, go. And you can
Go.
record this, whatever, and watch it later. So
That's
the
right.
Pac-12, we have 6th ranked, the Oregon Ducks, facing the 4th ranked Washington Huskies. Darren, who do you like in this one?
Just strictly from a perspective of wanting to be a fun game and be different than what people are talking about, I'm going to go with Washington. Dan Lanning is a fun story. Wouldn't be overly surprising if Oregon won, but also not even anything to do with Dan Lanning. Historically, with the exception of a couple of years, Oregon, when it's time to step up and do something that's program changing, outside of when Chip Kelly was there, it kind of looks different than it should and doesn't happen the way you would want it to. So I'm thinking this is one of those moments and Washington ends up winning the game. How about you, Ben?
Everybody's going with Oregon in this one. Oregon's ranked 6th, but they're favored. That they seem to be the hot pick because of they're looking at that first matchup. Dan Lanning made some calls that he said he shouldn't have made going forward on 4th down when some different play calls. I think that with all the talk about Oregon, Washington's putting more and more material on that bulletin board. I'm going to go with the Huskies pulling out the championship and making it into the playoffs.
Nice. That'd be a big moment for that program.
Let's go over to Conference USA where we have New Mexico State, one of Darren's recently favorite teams. You guys have become a rather new courtship here.
They are my favorite Aggies right now. That's right.
They face Liberty, ranked 25th and favored to win this. Darren, do I have to ask you who you're picking?
Oh, they're my upset pick of the week. I'm going with my favorite Aggies. Let's go Aggies. Whatever cheer. Let's go Aggies. How about you, Ben?
I think I'm going to go with Liberty. We live in an area where there's a lot of Southern Baptists. Isn't Liberty a Southern Baptist university?
Yes. Yep.
So I'm not sure it's ever wise to go against the Southern Baptist. I'm not going to pick against one of their schools. So that reasoning may be completely flawed, but that's my reasoning, and I'm going to stick to it. So I'm going to go with Liberty.
You make me afraid of going with the Aggies, but I have no choice. So,
hey, look on the bright side. We're not picking any championship games with Catholic schools.
There's just upside all over the place for that.
Let's move to the final, at least in this iteration of the Big 12 championship game. Texas, which will be moving to the SEC next year, has made it back, and they will be facing Oklahoma State, who knocked off Brigham Young.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's okay to root against the Mormons.
That's right.
Oklahoma
Only in
State,
football, not in basketball.
Yeah. Sean Bradley will find you. Oklahoma State and Texas. Darren, who do you like in this one?
I've had an on again, off again with the Cowboys and with our he's a man. He's 40 years old, Mike Gundy. But I think just because Texas is coming to the SEC, and I want to see the Big 12, see one of those two teams, Oklahoma or Texas, go out on top and come to the SEC as Big 12 champions. I think that's a pretty cool thing from an SEC perspective. So, and Texas has looked good this year. Other than Oklahoma State being able to sneak up and surprise some people, I don't really have a reason to think otherwise. So I'm going to go with Texas. How about you?
That was a thought I had, Darren. Did Texas, when they saw their opponent is Oklahoma State, was there a letdown? Did they want OU? Are they going to look
Right.
past Oklahoma State and think, hey, we're just going to go out and walk all over them, which they're not going to do. Oklahoma State has been up and down this year. They've had some great wins and they've had some embarrassing losses.
Yep.
I don't see Sarkisian allowing that to happen. I think the
No.
Longhorns win this game, and I think they're going to win big. That takes us to Maction. Don't you? I already missed the MAC games on Tuesday and Wednesday nights.
Absolutely.
We have the Miami of Ohio facing the Toledo Rockets. They actually have a rocket on near their stadium, right? Isn't it pointed at what's the school?
Bowling Green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's intense right there.
That's exactly right.
So, Darren, are you going with the Rocket Men?
Well, here's the thing. If they have a rocket pointed at Bowling Green, they're favored. I don't want the rocket pointed at my house. I'm going to go with Toledo. I think it's just the overall smart, safe pick.
Ben Roethlisberger played at Miami of Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
But Roethlisberger will not be playing in this game.
He will not.
The fact that they have a rocket, that's all I need to know. I'm going to go with Toledo. Boise State favored going against the upstart and surprising UNLV Running Rebels. Barry Odom has done a terrific job this year, much to your chagrin. You dealt with the pain firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
Boise State without their head coach who was let go. Who you like in this one?
Yeah, let me say just this one small piece. Can you imagine what this UNLV team would look like if Petrino didn't go to A&M? Because remember, he was hired as the UNLV O coordinator, and then a week later was hired and took the job at A&M. Can you imagine what this team would look like? For starters, I'm glad he went because they probably would have beat Vanderbilt by 60, which would have been even worse than a last-second loss with Bobby Petrino as the offensive coordinator. But I got to tell you, even though Boise is favored and Bobby Petrino is not at UNLV, Coach Odom's done a great job. They have some stability that Boise State obviously doesn't have right now with their coach being let go. I think UNLV pulls the upset. I think they win this game. How about you?
I like UNLV. I like the season they've had. I'm not sure if they win this game, Barry Odom will be there much longer.
Agree.
But I'm going to go with the Running Rebels in honor of Jerry Tarkanian and that famous towel that he would chew on at every basketball game.
That man went through some towels. Yes, he did.
And the game that you and I are most looking forward to seeing, the number one ranked Georgia Bulldogs face off against the 8th ranked Alabama Crimson Tide in the SEC championship game. It doesn't get any better than this. Nope. What a matchup that we have. Wow.
Yeah.
We got to pick one, Darren.
Oof. And you say that, and that still doesn't make it any easier because Georgia seems to be hitting all the right steps at the right time, which even though the year didn't necessarily start off with them being as dominant as we're accustomed to in the past, you still kind of expected, okay, Georgia's going to hit their stride. And obviously they have. Alabama, man, when you're coming off of that level of a high to win that game the way that you did, the old coach speak term is it's so much easier to win or to learn from a win. I mean, you have a mountaintop win that you can now get some attention and say, here are some things that put us in this position. Let's learn from these things. Alabama was the last team to beat Georgia. Can they do it again? I think just strictly for the story of it, and I think Georgia is the favorite and can continue to do what they do. It's not an absolute certainty for me, but I'm going to go with Georgia. I think Georgia wins and gets their SEC championship and heads into the playoffs undefeated. What about you?
Two quarterbacks that are having terrific seasons: Carson Beck for
Yep.
Georgia, Jalen Milroe for Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be the key. And I think Carson Beck's development is going to be the difference in this game. Also, I heard today Kirby Smart talking about this game, and he was building up, lavishing praise on Jalen Milroe. My first thought was, uh-oh, Kirby is game planning. He is going to he's going to throw something out there
Yep.
to stop and contain Milroe.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be good. Saban's going to try to counter it. This is going to be like two chess champions facing off against each other. Don't miss out on the beauty of what we're going to see unfold. Two great coaches making moves and adjusting throughout the game. With that being said, though, as much as I'm looking forward to this game, I do think that Georgia is going to pull out this victory, solidify their spot as one of the 4 playoff teams. That takes us to the AAC conference, where SMU, preparing to move on to the ACC.
Oh, that's right.
Is facing the 23rd ranked Tulane Green Wave out of New Orleans.
Yes.
What you got?
Well, I'm going to go with Tulane. I like Willie Fritz. I love the story of what Tulane has been doing over the last couple of seasons. And in this season, don't see any reason for it to happen any differently. I'm all in for Tulane. How about you?
There's going to be a green wave in this game that no Mustang can run through. I got Tulane.
Let me just pause for a minute. That was so well said. Well done. Well done.
You're way too kind. Over in the Sun Belt Conference, we have the Mountaineers from Appalachian State facing Troy. Are they the Trojans? Is that who they are?
Yes.
The Troy Trojans. Troy is favored in this game. Darren, who do you like?
You know, I think if you look back through the history of this podcast, even though we've focused in on Big 12 and SEC last year, and now just the SEC this year, we've had a couple opportunities to pick Troy in games, and I don't think we've ever went against the Trojans. So I don't see any reason to buck the trend now. I'm going with the Trojans. How about you?
I'm going to buck the trend because as much as I like this Troy team, that movie Troy just didn't do it for me. I was very disappointed in how they told that epic story. And I carry a chip on my shoulder as a result of that. So I'm going to go with the App State Mountaineers. My wife is from West Virginia. She's a Mountaineer. So is there a connection there? No, absolutely not. But hey. I like their colors. How's that?
They're in North Carolina, right?
They're somewhere over there.
Yeah, so that's closer to West Virginia than Alabama. So that works.
Let's go Mountaineers. Over in the Big Ten, we have on paper, an embarrassing matchup. I'm so glad that they will not do this any longer starting next year, because this is ridiculous.
Yep.
Iowa, please make me eat my words. I couldn't be happier if you did it. I did. Yep. Kirk Ferentz. I hope someone tells you, yeah, look at those two guys from Louisiana. You've probably got a million other things to do than listen to us. But anyway, the 3rd-ranked Michigan Wolverines are facing the 17th-ranked Iowa Hawkeyes. Mm-hmm. One team is just on a roll offensively. The other team is really good at punting. Darren, you've already, on our other episode, you made your pick. Have you changed your mind?
No, as much as the story would be incredible, if Iowa were to win this game, don't see it happening. All Michigan. How about you?
I look at Iowa. I like their colors. It reminds me of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And now that they're actually like doing better offensively, but Iowa's not.
Right.
So I'm going to say this through gritted teeth. I'll take that. The third-ranked team, the one with the blue and maize. I'll pick them.
Well done.
Over in the ACC championship game, the 10th-ranked Louisville Cardinals are facing the 5th-ranked Florida State Seminoles, which they're still finding a way to win without Jordan Travis. Louisville dropped one to Kentucky. Darren, who you like?
I think Florida had a moment last week, or Florida State had a moment last week against Florida where the team saw, hey, we can do this. This is scary. We don't have our guy, behind center. It's scary, but we can do this. And, that Louisville win or that Louisville loss, boy, that can push a team either way. So I'm going to go with the favorite. Florida State has figured out how to win with their backup quarterback. Could be a devastating blow to Louisville, the loss to Kentucky, when everybody, I think including a lot of Kentucky people, thought that Louisville was going to win, and they didn't. So I'm going to go with Florida State.
I'm going to go with Jeff Brom and what he's got going at Louisville. Yeah, that loss to Kentucky was disappointing. Maybe they were looking ahead to this game. I don't know. But Louisville, listen up. You can win this. You can do this. I need you to channel the energy, the spirit of never nervous Purvis. Remember, never nervous Purvis Ellison. You've got to channel that spirit. You have nothing to fear in this game. Everyone's picking Florida State. You have no pressure. Now go out and win the game so I can make fun of my co-host for another week. Because if not, he's going to make fun of me. And I don't like that.
That's right. Exactly.
Oh, and I've made enough bad picks this year for Darren to continue to poke fun at me. So you make your picks as well. And again, there's no pressure. If you go back to the episodes and look at who I've picked, who Darren has picked, there's no way you'll be embarrassed by your picks.
Just join the crowd. That's right.
Subscribe to the show. We'd like to get up to 50 subscribers in the next couple of weeks. And that means a lot to us if you would do that for us. Like and comment. New episodes Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday till the end of the college football season. Thanks for watching this episode. We'll see you next time. Take care.